I'm with Nick Freadreacea. We are at the WFCA annual meeting, and you are the chairman-to-be, it seems like, on down the road.
Yes, I had a very convincing person call and help volunteer me for it again. I'm very glad to be it, truthfully. It's been a great association, and I really enjoy being a part of the WFCA.
And you were a chairman before.
I was. I think I'm probably the only person that's ever going to be the chairman twice of the WFCA.
And a slow learner, I guess.
Maybe I didn't do well enough the first time. I have to finish up and come back for another session.
Well, it is. I mean, I like the way they have the progression moving through, so there is a continuity. Seriously, and I think that's good. This was an interesting meeting. I've never been to one of these before, but a lot of talk about the future and about change and about building and about partnerships. Talk about what you walk away with from this meeting.
Well, for one, Scott Humphreys is by far, he's a dynamic speaker. He's a very motivational speaker. I would say in the past 2 years since he came to be our leader, we've probably done more than the last 12 years that I was a part of this. And I will tell you, hang on for the next 2 years, because there's even more things that weren't covered today that you guys are going to just fall in love with. They literally have more going on in the next 2 years. More will happen than probably has happened in the last 12 or 15 years.
One of the things I think that he mentioned that many looked at the WFCA as the guys that started services and have a bundle of cash.
And those things are true.
And it's been looking for what next?
A new direction. They ran services for so many years. They're still very involved with services. I mean, it says services presented by the WFCA, so they're intimately involved. There's a new owner of services now, so I'm sure next year will be even more change. But Scott's vision and our vision is bigger and beyond services. What can they really do to affect the entire industry? What things can they do to make all of the industry better? They're looking at installation. You heard them mention there's a possibility for even national health care. There's, a lot of really big issues that affect the entire floor covering industry that there's really no one else that can do that. I'm a part of a couple other organizations in the industry that I'm very happy with, but their directives are for their group. The WFCA literally is to help every independent floor covering dealer out there. And that's a different purpose, and it feels good being a part of that.
Well, it is an interesting spot, and we're going to be watching going forward. Let me just ask you about retailing in general. You've got, is it 6 stores?
5 stores.
5 stores. Well, you should have 6.
Maybe could happen.
Well, you want to make an announcement here?
No.
2014 moving into 2015. I hear from a lot of people things are sort of marginally better. What's your take on?
Well, the one thing that's consistent about the floor covering industry now is there is no consistency. This is my 35th year to be in this industry. And for the first probably 25 years of that, it was very predictable. You knew what the first quarter of the year was going to do, the second, the third, the fourth, and you could plan your year accordingly, and literally it'd repeat every year, hit repeat. That's not the case anymore. The economy ebbs and flows differently than it ever has before. Our weather patterns literally have even changed. Winter lasts longer now than it has before. Our January and February, like almost everyone from Alabama north, was pretty soft. Weather extended, builders couldn't get things going. Then I would say probably 6 weeks ago, it has exploded. And now we can't get it all installed. There's so much business, things going on. So, how do you ever prepare every day? You just go out and do the best you can and arrive with what happens. But it's very inconsistent.
Prepare for not being able to prepare.
Right. And I will tell you, being too busy is much better than not being busy enough. Yeah.
Well, they tell me, and I was listening to a conversation about the shortage of installers. And I know we've heard that. I've been in this industry an awfully long time, and I've heard that since the first day. And has anything really changed?
I would tell you the difference is now than when I started. It was always a father to son or uncle to cousin, or there was a mentor that taught the next person. This past downturn from 2008 till about a year ago or 2 years ago, a lot of installers left this industry. So we're not only digging out for just the need for more business, a lot of those people left this industry. Someone is going to have to teach another whole generation and group of installers how to do things and how to do it properly. You've heard a lot today about the ANSI standards. Hopefully that becomes passed and it gives you something to teach from. There's a lot of new different flooring now, the click floors, the floating floors, all those things. You know, a generation ago, that wasn't even a possibility. They didn't even didn't know how to have to do that. Now it's a big, big part of the business. So somebody's going to have to grab that and teach this in the group and recruit people into our industry. That's even the bigger part, you know. You have to have bodies there before you can start to teach them anything.
It seems like vocation, selling on the vocation as opposed to going to college is a hardship, but it seems like installing carpet doesn't seem to be as sexy as if you're, you know, working on a computer or heating and air conditioning or plumbing or what.
You know, most kids in the playground don't pretend they're going to grow up and be a flooring installer. That's just not what happens. So no, but there were some exciting things today. If you notice, they talked about the military, you know, winding down a little bit, and a lot of people coming out of the military, and a lot of those guys, you know, are great with their hands and have hand skills and want to do something manual. You know, maybe they skipped college to go into the military. Now they're out of the military and they're looking for careers. And you know, as you know, a good qualified installer can make a very good living. The word just hasn't gotten out to people to say, hey, this is an alternative and you can do that. So, you know, I think we're looking at bigger picture things, and we're looking at groups that have never been looked at before.